Fragments of the Berlin Wall and New York City Twin Towers after 9/11, a shattered car of a TV crew working in Yugoslavia, displays of front pages of newspapers around the world. DC's Newseum, located in the very heart of the U.S. Capitol, has been the symbol of free press and the First Amendment for over a decade.
Over 10 million visitors have come to the Newseum in this location through our time here. Half of those visitors are school children. So to see them interact with things like the Berlin Wall and learn about the Cold War, or even our 9/11 gallery, which they weren't even born for, that is something that's really rewarding for us to see.
After operating for more than 12 years, the museum has gone bankrupt. The building that housed the museum for all these years has been sold to Johns Hopkins University for $372 million.
The museum started over 20 years ago as an idea from our founder, Al Newharth, to educate and convene conversations about the First Amendment and the craft of journalism. That small nugget of an idea started in Roslyn, Virginia, in a lovely museum there. And after about a decade in that location, we decided to move here to Washington, D.C.
Millions of dollars were spent to purchase the land steps from the U.S. Capitol. And though all ambitious dreams were achieved, the museum started to struggle.
I feel like the First Amendment and freedom to speech and the press is so important. It's how I grew up, and I think even in our country, it's under threat, and it's sad.
It's just very sad to see it go. I mean, there's so much documented history that is really, you can miss some really important things, and it really makes you think about how important the press is.
The closure of museum comes at a tough time for traditional journalism. About 2,000 U.S. newspapers have closed over the past 15 years, and less than half of the U.S. population say they trust the media, according to a Gallup poll, down from more than 70% in the 1970s. Journalist Ron Lyons says he came to D.C. from Detroit specifically to see the museum.
This is what we're fighting for. This is why we do what we do, not only to get these awards and get these accolades, but to show that freedom of the press is important and the public voices matter.
The museum hopes to continue its mission of stressing the importance of journalism and free press in an online forum. For Mariia Prus in Washington, Anna Rice, VOA News. The annual Burning Man Festival is one of the largest and most unique examples of how a gifting economy works. The festival, which is a celebration of principles like radical self-expression, has become increasingly popular for its eclectic participants and its desert location. But there is no money exchanged at the festival. People share pretty much everything, which is why the creators of the new documentary Gift decided to make it part of their film. Technically, nothing can be sold or bought at the festival. Burning Man organizers cherish the so-called gift economy. It's an idea inspired by Hyde's book, The Gift, that was written more than 3 decades ago.
In a gift exchange culture, there are many obligations. You have an obligation to give and an obligation to receive. So there's an obligation of reciprocity.
I mean, the idea is that the difference between a gift and a transaction is that a gift creates connection and relationship between people. A transaction kind of leaves things clean, right? You buy something and you walk away.
In the past decades, Hyde's book has become immensely popular among artists, writers, and musicians. Today, after Robin McKenna's documentary based on the book was released, the movie fans joined the group.
It's almost like a religion in this culture. It's kind of the idea of the economy kind of governs everything. We start learning about it in school and we kind of assume that the economy needs to keep growing and that those rules are kind of the central paradigm that governs all our decisions.
Consumer society assumes that you are a market actor and that you know yourself through your market exchanges. And if that's who you want to be, good luck to you.
In his book, Hyde references old traditions like those of Kwakiutl indigenous people that live on the western coast of Canada and practice potlatch, a gift-giving feast designed to eliminate excessive material values.
And the idea is you kind of give away all your wealth in order to gain status and to kind of back up your name in the culture. So Lewis talks about it in the book in a more historical way, something that's practiced in the Pacific Northwest. So I started looking into it and I found that it's actually a totally vibrant practice. It's happening now.
Hyde believes people need to recognize the value of a gift economy, which doesn't mean the system should replace the dominant economic model.
If you learn how to notice that there is gift exchange around us and valued, you'll begin to see it. So you just got to open your eyes.
Gifting as a concept can seem abstract, and it's not going to replace our capitalist economy anytime soon. But taking a step out of the familiar and into the new might feel like a refreshing gift to self at times. For Misha Gutkin in New York, Anna Rice, VOA News.